The next recipe is for homemade pita bread to go with the chicken souvlaki. It's similar to the other breads we've made. This one, how you cook it is a little different. The first step says to place a pizza stone, a pizza plate, or a large cast iron skillet in the oven and preheat it to 500 degrees. You can use a cookie sheet as well if you don't have any of those. And we're going to begin, like we've begun other breads, by taking a large bowl and combining 1 cup of warm water, 2 teaspoons of dry active yeast, and 1 teaspoon of white sugar or granulated sugar. And then you're going to stir that until it's dissolved. And stir in 1/2 cup of flour. It's interesting how they've combined the yeast with the flour already before they let it rise. It's a different technique than what we've used before, and it's been interesting to see in each of the flour-based and yeast-based recipes we've made, there's been a slightly different technique. This is a little clumpy for me. I'm gonna get a whisk it, and then set it aside to rest for 15 minutes. Okay, the 15 minutes has passed and the mixture is foamy. It has bubbles and it's foamy, so it is ready to work with. The next step says to add 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, add 2 cups of flour, reserving 1/2 cup. So I've set aside 1/2 cup like this, and I'm gonna add the rest of the flour. And mix. Okay, I've stirred it or combined it until it formed a shaggy mass, shaggy word again. And I've cleaned off the surface. So now I'm gonna put some of this reserved flour on the surface to knead it. Again, we're spreading a thin layer on the table. I'm gonna knead the dough for about 7 minutes. I'm just forming it into more of a dough ball. Then I'm gonna press with the heel of my hand, fold, turn, fold, press, turn, fold, press, turn, fold, press, turn. And as you knead the dough, like that started to stick for me, I'm gonna add a little more flour. And because it's sticky, it's gonna pick up these bits. So I will knead this for 7 minutes and then I'll show you the result. All right, I've kneaded the dough for 7 minutes. This is the result. It looks pretty smooth. It bounces back. It's still pretty fluffy. And I'm gonna put it in a clean bowl. And I'm gonna cover it with plastic wrap and I'm gonna leave it to warm for an hour. Oh, also the oven, it said step 1 is to preheat it. This is gonna take an hour, so you don't wanna preheat it until this is ready. Okay, it's been an hour and I'm super excited because I think my dough looks awesome. It's like I'm getting better at this every time. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this wrapper off and then we're gonna punch down the dough, which again is my favorite part. Put flour on the surface, so light coating. That's still the same 1/2 cup of flour I had from before. I haven't used most of it. My oven was on, so I don't know if that helped with the dough rising, but it definitely rose up. Actually, I'll just punch it down right in the bowl. So you can fold it, punch it down, fold it, punch it down. And then turn it out onto a floured surface. And then we're gonna split this dough into 4. Cut it down the middle. And then cut each half into 4. Try and make it equal size on both ends. should probably cut it on a cutting board, or be careful when you're cutting on a counter so that you don't scratch your counter. I'm just being extra careful. So you can cut it in half first if you want, and then cut each half in half. That'll maybe make it easier to see what size pieces you're getting. Make it sure it's equal. To cover with a towel and plastic wrap, and let it rest for another 10 minutes. Okay, it's been just over 10 minutes, a little bit over because I got busy doing something else. I'm gonna lightly dust the surface again, and I'm gonna work on the balls one at a time, the dough balls. And I'm gonna roll them out until they're 1/4 inch thick and 8 inches wide, which is actually I think the same size as the calzones were. So I know the other day I used a rolling pin. You don't have to, you can just use your hands. And I don't know if I got equal sizes because this is not getting to 8 inches. I can stretch it out until it gets the width I want. These are gonna puff up if they work out right. The reason we're cooking at such a high temperature is to get them to puff. They almost make like a ball with an air pocket in the middle. I'm going to try and show you in my oven. I have a cast iron pan in there that's really hot. It's been at 500 degrees for a while. I have a tray with all my uncooked pitas on it, and then a tray with nothing on it so far that I'm gonna use to put the cooked ones on. I might prop my oven open just so you can see, but don't do that at home. And I'm gonna use tongs to put them in. So here goes. This is after 3 minutes, so you can see there's a bigger air pocket at the back. We are going to leave those in a little bit longer. I recommend at home that you don't open and close the oven like this because you lose heat every time, and it might even affect the ballooning. Probably a good idea to leave it in there for the 3 minutes, check it once, and then come back to it. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, and I don't know if you can see, but at the back there's a little tiny bit of golden brown. So I still think it needs to brown up a bit more, so I'm gonna leave it in. After showing you that last video, right away I checked the bottom. The bottom's going golden brown, so I just flipped the pita. So I'm gonna try that. This is my final product. It's golden brown on the bottom, slight on the top. I left it in there a little long, trying to see if I could get it more golden brown. It feels pretty like crispy on the outside. It's still really hot. Maybe a little doughy on the inside. So this is my second attempt, and this is what it's supposed to look like. It's not near done. It still has 3 minutes, so hopefully yours turn out like this. Look at this one. So it turned out just like it's supposed to. It puffed up. We're gonna let it cool and see if it drops down. I'll show you how they all turn out. So this is how they turned out. Most of them are puffy, which is super exciting. I'm really excited about how they turned out. This one came out flat like that. I don't know why, but I tasted it and it was really delicious. When you rip them open, they still have 2 parts so that you can still make that pocket where you put your food. Obviously it's easier with the puffy ones. Anyway, dig in, enjoy.